Cadora AI, employee experience evangelists, do an amazing job aligning AI and humans. I'm really excited by some of the topics that we've got lined up.
They hear AI, well, they're quite overwhelmed because it's everywhere at the moment.
Great. So welcome to the studio today. For those that don't know, Vanessa is from Employee Experience Evangelists, EXEV. She's doing an amazing job aligning AI and human. Now tell me about your business and what you're doing.
Thank you, Theodore. It is a bit of a mouthful, but once you get down to the core, it's really about helping take employees on the journey with AI. So I don't necessarily touch tools or technology, but looking at the behaviour, culture, how you can support your people to embrace AI in the workforce.
Amazing. For those that don't know, I'm Fiddle Panagakis. I lead Cadora AI. Vanessa and I have come from a technology background, so we deliver solutions and consulting services. But one thing that we don't do well, which is why Vanessa's here, is that human-centered approach. That's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm really excited by some of the topics we've got lined up. Now tell me, what have you seen in the AI for human space? What are some of the key emerging topics that have been discussed over the last 12 months?
I think there's a huge shift now with AI no longer being a choice. Many organisations are almost in a state of flux, saying, what do we do now? We need to do something, but they're just not sure where to start. That's often where we come in, because I always say, start with your people, get them involved, ask them how they feel with AI, where they want AI, and then it will help develop the picture. There's also a broader and bigger conversation all about the success of AI pilots, culture, having the right frameworks and infrastructure to support AI projects. Now it's not surface level anymore, it's going a lot deeper.
I agree. So interesting you say, because throughout 2023, or at least since the advent of ChatGPT, the conversation around AI has been largely technology driven, but we have not heard much about the human approach to AI. AI is a technology solution, but ultimately humans use it, particularly in the workforce. When people build AI solutions, they're largely technical people, right? They're developers. They're looking at ones and zeros, building code, and they're looking at specific outcomes. And there's a couple of key things that I have seen that have been missed, and that's obviously that end user experience. How do you build an AI solution that is for the user, easy to use and easy to understand? That has been missed. I've looked at LinkedIn, there's YouTube videos now emerging, a lot more posts and a lot more traffic and chatter about AI for humans, and I would say in 2026 it's going to be a very dominant topic. Would you not agree?
Definitely. But it's also not a new topic. People get scared when they hear AI, or they're quite overwhelmed because it's everywhere at the moment, especially in marketing, with tech companies, providers, etc. But when you strip it back, from all the tech projects people have done, whether it's different platforms, tools, systems, there's always been a human element to that around user experience, change management. So it's not different. It's just this is happening really hard and fast for people, so you have to support them through the change.
Yeah, when we're deploying an AI solution in a corporate environment, most of our audience will be from large businesses across Australia, including commercial and government enterprises. When we talk about the user, who are we talking about in the corporate environment?
It's never cut one way. You can look at it from a technology perspective, generations in the workforce, what they want to see and how they want to be using it with AI. You can look at behavioural archetypes. You have within the workforce your innovator, someone up at this end of the spectrum that's leading the charge, excited, using all the tools. And then you have people on the other end of the spectrum, even the skeptic in the organisation, that's head down in their work. AI doesn't exist. I'm just going to stay here and do nothing about it, which is completely fine, because there's always going to be people in different levels of engagement. The biggest thing is understanding people's fit, how you can support them, what they need and their goals, and slowly taking them on the journey.
Yeah.
Even if it's capability or training uplift, it might be starting small with particular pilots or processes so they can see the benefits. And then you'll slowly start to shift them from the skeptic or someone who's overwhelmed and unsure to help them experiment and become more innovative and excited about AI.
Interesting, because we work with a lot of companies now, and in every company we see those personas. The AI leader, the AI champion, and the AI skeptics. They're diametrically opposed. It's either they're all in or they're not. What makes a great AI leader and great AI champions? What are the characteristics of an AI champion in an organisation? They're someone that understands the utility of AI. They use it themselves, maybe personally or at home. They see the benefits of AI and understand how to use AI across various parts of the business to achieve a really good result. They're a strong advocate, whether they're at a meeting or in a presentation, they're leading the charge and saying, hey, look, we need to start to take this AI thing seriously. That, in my mind, is an AI champion. They don't necessarily have to come from a technology background. They could be in finance, legal, like operations or somewhere else. From my experience, we look at the opposite side of the spectrum, the person that's very anti-AI. What was the term? The AI skeptic. You are right. We have seen this firsthand. The person that thinks that AI is going to take their job, which is very topical at the moment, that refuses to immerse themselves in training, that believes AI is going to absorb all their personal data and take over their life. People are very cognizant about where their personal data goes. So how do we manage the AI skeptic? There must be a way to address and potentially even inform these people. That's the question we face. My view is that it comes down to an education piece and a learning piece. Would you agree?
It's an education and learning piece, definitely, but it's also allowing them to have a seat at the table, understand and hear their point of view of why or where they don't want to see AI. They might have a really valid point, or they might start to engage in those conversations in a constructive way, but at least they're helping make sure it's fit for purpose, ask them, get feedback, involve them in the testing project so that AI is happening with them rather than to them.
That they are involved in every step of the way. Yeah, that's key. And so communication is key, and that comes down to good change management, which you talked about earlier, having a really good change management plan.
It's always going to be ongoing. It's not just about individual employees, it's also about the organisation. So if you're an innovative organisation, you like to experiment, then you're in a good position. But if your organisation's risk averse and your ways of working very process and slowly, then you almost have to do that with AI as well, so not deliver that culture shock. It's at both the people and organisation level that you need to look at. How do we want to implement this? How do we work with our people? Where are we seeing the right opportunities? That will help organisations know where to start.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. So, Kadora, we talk about the conservative organisations, slow to adopt, slow to adapt. They're waiting for everyone else in the market to do something so that those other companies can take the lead. And they think, well, it works for them. Okay, now let's start on our own AI journey. But there is data to suggest that those in the conservative bucket represent organisations that are likely to lose competitive advantage in 3 to 5 years. Whereas you look at the AI masters not only see utility and benefits using AI across all parts of the organisation, but they've also recognised that AI is a cultural issue just as much as it is a technology issue. And those companies are going to do really well in the next 3 to 5 years. They're the companies that are going to achieve very strong competitive advantage.
Agreed. Where you're going to lose competitive advantage is if you do nothing. If you start today, if you've been inquisitive, if you work with your people and take them on the journey, look at the opportunities where you can automate, augment and keep work human. You can start to build momentum in 3 to 5 years. You might have an augmented workforce, AI enablement leads and be a fast humming competitive business. If you do nothing, then you're going to be in the same position. Your competitors using AI that are more productive, faster to market and leveraging technology will far advance you.
So if you're an employee, how do you know that you're in an organisation that is embracing AI?
It's the conversations, it's seeing the pilots, the experimentation, and not just talking about it, but actually seeing the implementation. There's so much conversation, especially at the moment, but there are a lot of companies that aren't doing it.
I like your point before where you mentioned that an organisation that has a strong AI culture is one where employees are actively involved in the decision making with respect to AI and actually have a seat at the table. That's quite powerful. It really brings in that human element, and that's why we're here today. It's not just in the design, it's not just in the technology, but empowering employees to make decisions on how AI can be leveraged in their day-to-day work, which gets a really good result. Good point. So if you're an employee and you want to get into AI and you know very little other than ChatGPT, where do you start? And I ask this because this is probably the most common question I get asked personally and we get asked by our customers, where does an individual start if they are to embrace and immerse themselves in AI?
Start with your specialism. I don't claim to be an AI technical expert. I'm very transparent. But what I do know is people, employee experience, and org psych. So that's where I'm going in this realm around how can we support employees to adopt AI.
That's your niche.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're a lawyer, an accountant, if you're in IT and you know your space, then you can start to look at what's happening in the market, understand how to prompt. There's so much AI training and enablement out there, but you can actually leverage and start to train particular models. You have the expertise. Even now you can vibe code and just whip up products and prototypes straight away. What we're going to need for the future is specialist knowledge and humans to be able to curate solutions and make sure they're fit for purpose.
And which ultimately makes you more valuable as an employee.
Exactly.
So if you're working in finance, say you're an accountant, the recommendation would be off the back of this discussion, why not go down the path of specialising in AI for finance? Why not going down the path of creating a niche for yourself or AI for customer experience and customer service?
Start looking at the opportunities. If you're doing the same workflow or processes that you know don't need to be done, look for solutions. Start to bring that into your patch and your thought leader and someone who's driving the innovation.
Yeah.
Because that's what we need.
Before we wrap up, Vanessa, for all the audience members that are watching and listening to you from around the world, how do they get in touch with you if they want to know more about AI and the employee experience?
Awesome. So I run an employee experience design agency, particularly focusing on AI, called Employee Experience Evangelist. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm always open to these conversations.
And of course, I'm with Kadora.ai. You can easily find me on LinkedIn as well. Thanks for joining me and the audience today. I think that was an amazing discussion. Really looking forward to hearing the feedback and comments. See you later.